All
right, welcome everybody to the furcast. Today I'm here with Rapid. He's gonna be the he's gonna be the one with me through pretty much the entire thing.
Yep.
So, what's your opinion on Suicide Boys?
Well, I mean, like, I've been listening to them for literally years. I mean, like, in terms of like rap, in my opinion, like, if you enjoy like any type of rap, like subgenre of rap or anything like that, specifically like Suicide Boys will have at least a song, or a album that you will enjoy. Because like they've got albums all the way from like, I Want to Die in New Orleans, which is like sort of a more raspy sort of undergroundy sort of one, and their older ones, they've still got like melodic sort of rap in there, but they've also got their dark stuff. Their writing skills are really good, and I mean like, especially for the fact that they do their own sort of like individual stuff as well. So you might enjoy their individual stuff more than their combined stuff. And I just think they're just an all-round, very wide sort of interest in terms of the rap genre. I know they're underground, but I think they, in terms of this sort of day and age, I think they deserve a bit more sort of love than they do, especially for the fact that they're obviously almost like therapy to some people, like me, and like
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I've been listening to them since about like maybe 2018 to 2020, around that time, which is when they really started. Which, to my knowledge, is when they really started to like pop off in the music genre, in like their own respective music genres, with like each song popping off in their own way with different types of people, which is what I like. How, like you said, it will have something that everyone will. They have something that everyone will like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't really start listening to them before they got that famous, because I jumped on whenever they started like getting famous.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
But like you said, you pointed out, they've been like therapy to me, and I've been getting like deeper and deeper into their like older and newer songs, finding like good like combos to mix it, like combos of songs between them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, and like
one of my favorite albums has got to be Eternal Grey.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my experience with Suicide Boys is like, I'll listen to an album or a song and I'll get addicted to that one and I'll be like, oh, that's my favorite. Then literally like a week later, I have a different favorite, just depending on my general mood for that week. So like, for example, there's one song that they have called I Want to Be Romanticized, which is sort of like the whole time they're like singing in high pitch and they're sort of like, it's quite a sort of upbeat sort of song and good melodies, and that sort of fit me for that week. And then if I'm in a week where like I feel like I'd like a raspier type of song, I'll take one from their New Orleans album, where it's like a bit more raspier and a bit more like deep or like dark, not dark specifically, but more like aggressive-ish. And like I said before, I mean like they encompass all of that, and I just like seem to find that most of their songs I enjoy, and especially their skills, especially Scrim, his skills on sampling in his songs is like next level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Scrim sampling and like the beats he makes and stuff. But for me, what really hit with Suicide Boys that got me hooked on was mainly Ruby the Cherry and his verses. That's what really got me hooked on to like all of their songs, because for me, they both go like deep into their own perspectives and their own level, depending on like what you like, what you feel like is deep, because it's different for everybody. But for me, Ruby the Cherry hits different with almost every song. But recently, with their more recent songs, I've started to feel like with their more recent songs, Scrim has been like hitting pretty deep as well. But Ruby the Cherry, I like him. I like them both equally, but like Ruby the Cherry, in my opinion, has a better like. It's hard to explain it, but he's got like better vocals in a way. Like he's got like a better rhyming scheme, and like he sounds more personal whenever you hear from Ruby.
Yeah, which is quite interesting, because in terms of like Scrim's been more open about like he said he had bipolar in some of his songs, and I'm pretty sure in an interview he did say so in terms of that he's more open, but Ruby's sort of more open in lyrics rather than speaking out as well. So it's like Scrim is sort of like, he's open and deep in his songs, but I feel like um Ruby is like has like 100% of his sort of openness in his songs. He sort of like almost like vents in his songs
Yeah.
in like a really smart like way, because like his rhythm and rhyme and his writing skills is like crazy.
Yeah, that whenever I listen to like artists or songs that are deep like that, I like it whenever, because Suicide Boys, I feel like they've mastered it to me. They they basically like, it's like venting in a way, but you, the way they do it, you can see yourself in their shoes. Like you can get, like, listening to
Yeah,
them, you feel like you're also venting in a way.
yeah, and that's like how music's like therapy for like, because like most of their songs, I'm pretty sure every single one of their songs has like deep things in it, and pretty much like 90% of their songs will have like relatable lyrics in, at least some point of the song, and that's quite a strong thing when you can relate to a song,
Yeah,
especially when you got the factors like the beat, the sampling, the vocals, the harmony, and all that's like really good. It's like, when a song hits, you get like goosebumps from it, and like,
yeah,
like I'm listening to this shit for like a week
yeah.
straight,
I feel the
just
same way.
daily, hours a day.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I've basically done sort of like what you have, but like it would be, it's more like phases in a way. Like I'll go from like I go from like having all of their aggressive songs on like my quick picks for like YouTube Music and stuff, and then like maybe a month or
Mm.
two later, I'll like switch into like the deeper, more darker in a way, like where they go into like
Yeah,
deep
yeah,
into their feelings and stuff. And then
yeah,
I'll switch to like something that's more like upbeat and not quite aggressive, but not quite deep, but it's got like a mix of both in it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like from my personal like experience, like over the years, is that like, even though like on Spotify they have over 11 million monthly listeners, and like some of their songs have over 500 million listens, like, you know, um, it's like you don't hear them getting talked about like at all, like in sort of the general population, even though this generation is quite around rap and that
Yeah,
sort of thing, like Drake and all of that,
I
which is quite interesting. But yeah,
yeah, I think I might have an idea why. Now, this isn't criticism towards Suicide Boys, because trust me, I love it. I think it's mainly like their darker topics, because
yeah,
whenever people hear songs um like any of the Kill Yourself series, like Kill Yourself Part 1, 2, 3, 4, all that, or like maybe something like what was it? Forgot. Like Broken, whenever like people don't really listen to things like that in the like the emo genre, dark genre, horror rap, all that. People like more of the upbeat, more of the like straight aggressiveness. When I say that, I don't mean like calling them
yeah,
gay or anything. Like straight aggressiveness towards people, like saying, "Oh, I murdered this guy," stuff like that. I mean, I
yeah,
like all those. I like those types of songs too, but like, so I think they just don't really talk about Suicide Boys often, because they're typically, when you hear the word Suicide Boys, you think of someone that's like straight emo, like just making straight emo
yeah.
music.
And I mean, they talked about in one of their interviews, how like they want their music to come out like people think their music's emo and all this, but it's really just therapy by their words. And like it's like we both have a different understanding of them, because like, yeah, their lyrics are that deep, and I recognize if I try to show people that sort of song, they'd be like, oh, you know, are you all good? But
Yeah,
like, it's not how I think. I listen to that song and it's like really deep, like depressing sort of like background, but it's sort of not the thing that comes to your mind when you're sort of listening to it. You're like, you get a buzz from sort of relating to some of the lyrics, of course, but like it's just generally the music and their flow
yeah,
and their writing skills and all of that.
yeah. The flow. Whenever I first listened to like one of their first songs, I forgot which one one of their first, but like when I first heard them, I think it was the like most viewed song, which is into those that most viewed, listened to, whatever, is
Yeah,
and those um and to those I love, thanks for sticking around, which was the first one my
yeah,
uncle introduced me to. I think was
yeah,
I liked it because it because when I was in that deep spot when I got introduced to it, it hit different more than any other song I've ever heard, and it was the flow before the lyrics, like that flow that brought me in. It like
Yeah,
calmed me down and like got me hooked onto it, sort of like in a trance in a way.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, on Spotify, that song's got like I think like 650 up coming up to like 700 million plays, which is like crazy.
Yeah,
Their most listened to song by quite a bit. And even they've said when they sort of do live shows that it's they. I think there's been a few times where Scrim has actually like cried singing the song on stage because it's probably their most meaningful song to them. I think when they were talking about it. And you know that it's almost like they're venting through their music. And I mean, they said before in interviews and stuff like they don't care that how famous they are. Almost like they like people have asked like, oh, what do you think about the fame? And they said, oh, I don't really care. And they've said in their songs sometimes
yeah, like
it's
the
like they did it to enjoy it and they did it to sort of like vent
connect,
basically
yeah, connect
in
event.
themselves. Yeah,
And you're right on that because um it was in one of in like an interview or something. I was reading like I was like reading through one of their interviews and stuff, and they said it was quoting from an interview. They said materialistic things didn't bring them joy, doesn't bring them joy. They do it because of what the like experiences with all that and stuff. They don't do it for the
yeah,
materialistic things like the money, fame, all
yeah,
that. I'm not
yeah,
I can't quote it directly because I don't quite remember it. So like calm down if it's not correct.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, one of their songs from their album a couple of years back, 3 years ago, called "Materialism as a Means to an End," which, like the title of that track, basically says, you know, they know, and they like say in a song how it, like, once you become so sort of brainwashed with materialism, like if the whole entire world completely gets washed with it, and then it's a means to an end. Because if you value possessions over loved ones and things like that, then everyone's just going to crumble. And
Yeah,
that's basically how they sort of explain in their songs how like um basically in the song it was like the example they used like I think it was like robbing and sort of things like that. And it's obviously like how they materialize the money that they gain from it, but you know, killing people in the process and stuff, they didn't care. And that's the materialism as a sort of a whole thing. It's like they don't care about physical, spiritual, emotional, connected lives, rather than just physical sort of things like money and sort of that sort of thing.
yeah,
Um,
and and it's really pointed out in like all of their kill yourself songs, like but
mm,
mainly like if I remember correctly, probably like kill yourself part 3 and 2, I think, if I remember correctly. They they don't they it can be heard that they don't care about the materialistic things. They don't use materialism like that, if I remember
mm,
correctly.
yeah. And also like they have another sort of I no longer fear the razor guarding my heel. That set of 5 series of EP/singles. All of the titles of the tracks are like poetic in themselves. Like, you know, you've got my floors burn through my skin like demonic flames from hell. Like that's just the title of the track, and that's poetic in itself.
On
Um,
top of the painting that they use as the
mm,
cover.
yeah, and the name of the um EP or single, whatever you want to call it, I no longer fear the razor guard in my heel. Razors being like self harm, and then guarding my heel because of like the whole
Achille,
stories with
yeah,
Achilles
Achilles.
being dunked in a river, but because he was being held by his sort of heel, um, that's where he got shot and like got hurt. So like saying they no longer fear the razor guarding the heel, as they no longer sort of fear like harm themselves, no longer fear sort of how they're recovering from their sort of thing. And this is the thing with them is that you can have your own sort of
View on what they do.
yeah, exactly. And like it's like they give you the that you could interpret it in like any way that fits you and like molds into you. And that's how they do with their lyrics, which is, I think it's quite smart, and like that's how their writing skills to me is just like crazy.
Yeah. Another thing that I really like is like, but like same way you said, you could be interpreted in any way depending on who you are. Is like the song New Chains Same Shackles. Hold on.
Mm.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go do something real quick.